Hello guys, back again with me at Bobadarin. The film begins by showing a scene, which is located on a beach. Throughout the film, we are not told what is the name of the beach and where is it located. But what is clear, a group of teenagers seen partying on the beach at night. If calculated, the number of teenagers is approximately 15 people. In the middle of the party, a boy made a rule, where all of them at the party were not allowed to have cell phones at all. So, all their cell phones were collected and put in the trunk of the car. Not long after, there were two boys who carried a large lump filled with slime. They said that this object was found not far from the beach. Without them knowing, this strange object will bring disaster to them. In the morning, a girl named Kyle had woken up first. Not long after that, the man named Myth also woke up from his sleep. Kyle and Myth are at the lifeguard's house, seeing friends sleeping in the car. Kyle also saw his boyfriend, Jonah, sleeping with her friend, named Shonda. In other words, Jonah had an affair with Shonda, who was Kyle's own friend. Then, a guy named Fans and his girlfriend named Rooney also woke up in the back seat. While the girl named Marcia even woke up on a beach chair. On the other hand, Kyle saw a seabird looking for food, then the bird suddenly sucked into the beach sand. Marcia, who was still half alive, tried to get down from the chair. At that moment, Kyle shouted so that Marcia did not step on the sand. But unfortunately, Marcia had already stepped on the sand. Marcia's legs suddenly felt like they were heavy and couldn't be lifted at all. His friends who saw Marcia, in a moment panicked and confused what happened. At that time also Rooney's girlfriend, Fans, tried to help Marcia. He jumped out of the car, and immediately his legs felt heavy, until he fell. His intention to help, even in the end he himself asked for help. Fans' face facing the sand, began to be gnawed by something, to the point that Fans' face was torn and bleeding. Not long after, Fans and Marcia immediately sank into the sand. It really happened in the morning that they all didn't expect, seeing their two friends die in an instant. They planned to call the police station, but they just realized that their cell phones were all collected and in the trunk of the car. Really, Myth as the person who made the rules was immediately blamed. Worse still, they secretly entered the beach, which was not actually open because the sea water was polluted. Jonah, who was in the car, tried to start the engine. But apparently, the car battery was dry and Jonah forgot to replace it before leaving for this beach. As a result, the car cannot move at all. Kyle was curious about the creatures in this sand. He used his hands to lure the creature out. Sure enough, the strange creature was shaped like hair and very thin. Long story short, his friend Gilbert just woke up and was trapped in the trash. When I watched this film, to be honest, I really felt sorry for him. He also tried to get out of the trash and shook it constantly. Immediately, his friends immediately shouted and said don't move at all. In the end, Gilbert fell silent after being told there was something in the sand. He was also shocked after learning that his two friends had died because of the beach sand. Like it or not, Gilbert had to survive and stay in that trash can. Time after time, they all just wait in their respective places. With the hope, there are people who come and know their whereabouts. Rooney, who lost his girlfriend, wrote a letter to his mother if he did not survive. Without food, without drink, they can only wait for something uncertain. Then, they realized that the people who attended last night's party were gone and drowned in the beach sand. In other words, on this beach only the 6 of them remained. Not far from them, Kyle saw a large boulder that was found last night had been torn apart. Rooney realized that the big lump looked like a hatched egg. Therefore, the strange creature under the sand most likely came from the egg. Yes, if you remember, the seawater on this beach is polluted and seawater pollution can create an unexpected new creature. Then, Jonah had a plan to take the things that were in Marcia's bag. Incidentally, behind the car there are 2 surfboards that Jonah can use to walk. He puts the surfboards one by one to step. When he approached the chair, the surfboard that Jonah stepped on shifted and moved further away. Jonah kept trying not to touch the sand at all. However, the parasites instead come out of the beach sand and touch the belly of the zone. But he still managed to hold on and jumped into the chair. Immediately his stomach hurt because it was bitten by a parasite. Jonah also looks like someone who is poisoned and her face suddenly turns pale. He said that his stomach felt like he had been stung by 1,000 jellyfish. While enduring the pain, he opened the contents of Marcia's bag and found some canned drinks. In the end, one by one they were given drinking water by Jonah. When Jonah threw a drink at Myth, he actually felt pain suddenly. It was a shock, to the point that the wood on the edge of the stairs just loose. Jonah's wound also seemed to be getting worse and festering. Even Jonah, who was in pain, could only lie down on the chair. The five of them were even more confused. How can they survive in this place? Like it or not, they have to take the cell phone that is in the trunk of the car. Rooney was planning to open the trunk, while stepping on the bumper of the car. When the trunk began to open, suddenly there was a patrol car honking non-stop. Immediately, Rooney slipped until his right finger caught in the trunk of the car. It really hurts. I'm also annoyed with the person who was riding in this car. They even honked their horns. If you want to come, it's better to just go straight. It's a pity for Rooney. This man is a lifeguard at this place. He asked what exactly Kyle and his friends were doing on the beach, which was closed. Then Kyle told that there was something under the sand of this beach. The disbelieving Coast Guard got out of the car right then and there. Strangely, the parasites in the sand couldn't hurt the man's legs, and they wondered, why did the man walk without getting hurt at all? Because it's okay. The Coast Guard increasingly can't believe their words. Then Myth said that the man was not harmed by the parasite because of the leather shoes he was wearing. At that moment, the Coast Guard told Kyle and Myth to come down to him. But the two of them clearly did not want to obey the Coast Guard's orders. The angry lifeguard man immediately threatened them by issuing pepper spray. Unknowingly, the man's car key fell on the sand. He also took his car keys. However, his hands immediately felt heavy and he couldn't move at all. Kyle told the lifeguard to use pepper spray. At that moment, the man immediately sprayed the parasites that emerged from the sand. However, half of the Coast Guard's arm had to be cut off and bleeding profusely. Not long after that, he immediately fell and was sucked into the sand. From that incident, Shonda realized that footwear is very important. He planning to wrap his feet in towel runs from here. When Shonda threw the towel, Myth instead fell due to the loose edge of the wood. Myth lying on the sand and began to be gnawed by the parasites. Immediately his feet and hands began to slowly enter the sand. His friends could only watch without knowing what to do. In a state of panic, Kyle suddenly had a pretty brilliant idea. He gave the edge of the wooden stairs to Shonda, who was in the car. Then, Kyle jumped from the Coast Guard house into the car. They both helped Rooney to release his pinched finger. Then, Rooney's 4 fingers were successfully removed and immediately wrapped in a thick towel. On the other hand, Gilbert's half body that was pinched started to hurt and bleed profusely. Then Kike and Shonda put the wood down so they could cross over to Jonah's chair. Shonda slowly crossed while maintaining her balance. Luckily, he made it to the chair. Then Kyle, who crossed, also made it to the chair. When it was Rooney's turn, he slipped and fell on the sand. In an instant, a collection of parasites straight away sucked Rooney into the sand. Unbeknownst to them, the parasites were trying to get into Gilbert's trash can. Shonda also had the idea to go to the patrol car. He also applied the method that was told by Myth before. When all his legs were wrapped and he immediately ran to the car and managed to get on it. But suddenly, Gilbert slowly spit out blood from his mouth. It turned out that all the parasites made a hole and entered through the bottom of the trash can. At that moment, Gilbert was immediately sucked into the sand and just disappeared. Even more unlucky, Shonda even slipped and hit her head until she was unconscious. Like it or not, Kyle and Jonah can only wait until Shonda regains consciousness. At night, Shonda, who fainted, finally realized and woke up. He also found a lifeboat on top of the patrol car. Without thinking, Shonda immediately threw the lifeboat. Then, he got into the lifeboat to pick up Kyle and Jonah one by one. They stood on the lifeboat and got into the car. Unfortunately, Jonah is getting worse and has to die in the car. I'll be honest, I thought he was going to try to drive and run away from that beach. But in fact, he died of a parasite instead. As a result, Kyle and Shonda can only wait because they can't drive at all. The next day, a man suddenly peeked out of the car window and woke them both up. The man also seemed to be able to stand on the sand without being bothered by parasites. In the end, Kyle and Shonda descended quietly on the sand, while Jonah had to die with a heavy stomach festering. Suppurate gather purulent pussy. At the end of the film, we are shown a collection of parasites swimming and heading to another beach. In essence, the only survivors from this catastrophe are Jonah's boyfriend and mistress. Okay, maybe this is the discussion of this film. Until we meet again in the next video, I'm from the BABATURAN team. Take it out first, bye.